Hi, I'm Mulla and welcome to my peer-to-peer review.
So Tay, how long have you been at TNF and what does your role consist of?
I've been at TNF for about 9 months and I work in the internal communications team as a multimedia apprentice. So I help create all the media assets for the company which are needed for the colleagues to help get out communications. I work with videos, banners, animations and even sometimes GIFs, which are a personal favourite of mine. Along with the job, I do college, which I am working towards gaining my junior content producer qualification.
What are some of the projects you're working on right now?
One of the main projects I'm working on at the moment is the rebuilding of our onboarding platform. I'm working on making it a bit more engaging and more appealing to the eye by creating a range of different multimedia assets. Two of the main bits I've created so far is a notice board with the best tips for new starters, which are the tips are from other new starters, and a animation which contains really interesting facts about the company. I bet you didn't know that if the total number of pages available at Taylor & Francis Online were printed and stacked in a pile, it would actually be 5 times higher than the tallest building in the world.
Which of our TNF values, truth, diversity of thought, individual potential, human progress, do you connect with most and why?
I feel as though I connect with each and every one of our values. I think being truthful is something I've always been brought up knowing is a very important trait, and I'd say I've carried it into my adult life. Not sure anyone else would say that. I'm joking. Diversity of thought is a value which is in the creative industry makes you go a long way. That's something a teacher taught me at GCSE and it helped me get through my A levels, and I also think it made me confident to do art which I wanted to do, not just ones which would make me pass. Individual potential and human progress, I think, go hand in hand. You need to know you have all the potential in the world, yet you also need to know there's always space for progression. And I think if there isn't room for progression, then you need to challenge yourself a bit more.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
I love the fact I get to learn so much about the different types of media, and I'm not just limited to one type. I love that I'm surrounded by extremely talented people who happily put time aside to help me progress my skill. And I also love how, although I'm an apprentice, they still very much value my opinion and they want me to work on projects, not just the easy ones.
If you could work in another area of TNF, what would it be and why?
I think if I could work on a different area of TNF, I would love to work with the marketing or the social teams, and I think it'd be really fun to see what it's like working with the general public rather than just colleagues. I also really quite like the idea of being able to respond to trolls. But if not in one of those, then I'm not sure if this is internal or if we hire externally to do this. But I would love to be able to help design the book covers for our journals which we release. Although I'm not sure I'd have a clue what the books are on about, but I'd be able to get creative.
What would you do for a career if you weren't doing this?
The dream job would be to be a radio presenter. I'm not going to lie, I've always wanted to do it and I think I always will want to do it. If we're going to be a bit more realistic, I think I would love to work in the creation of adverts for TV. I have a weird fascination with watching them, so I think being able to make them would be even funner.
What is the most important thing you've learned in the past year?
With COVID and all, I think the most important thing I've learned is to live in the now. Say yes to any plan anyone wants to make. The sooner the better, as tomorrow is not promised. I also think to just appreciate everything in life a little bit more. See family as much as possible and see friends as much as possible and savor every single second. I think we need to stop taking things for granted and just actually appreciate everything.
And finally, if you could give one bit of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think I would tell her to be a lot nicer to her parents because younger Tay was a bit of a pain, I think. I think I'd also say friends come and go, but better ones do enter your life. And I would also tell her to believe in herself and not to stress over anything because stressing does nothing. But I'd also make sure she knows that hard work does go a long way. But more than anything, I would make sure she knows that grades aren't life or death, but making memories is everything. Oh, another thing, I would also tell her that JLS do get back together, so not to stress about that because just wait a few years and I'm sure you'll be seeing them live.
That's all for this week's episode of Peer-to-Peer Review. But if you or anyone you know would like to get involved, then please drop us an email to internal.communications@tnf.co.uk.